Welcome back there, buds. I got a whole entire dresser all behind me, ready to finish. I just wanted to show you a quick little video of how I'm going to spray this. So let's jump in and take a look. This is the main part, the body of the dresser. This was stained a couple days ago. I let it sit up and dry. It's a little colder now, so I'll just give it an extra day to dry, just so hopefully there's no problems with the finish. As you can see, that walnut already really pops, really looks great. I used the Varathane brand stain, the American walnut color. Here's the mirror. This is the back side of this. And then this goes into it. It's all looking pretty good though. Here's the drawers. I only stain the fronts, the insides. I usually never refinish a total drawer unless it's like in horrible shape, which these were right on the cusp of that. But I scuffed these up really well with a 220, and then I cleaned them really well with a de-wax wash. So I'm hoping I could just spray these. When I wiped them down with that de-wax wash, they looked awesome. So I'm thinking they're gonna turn out and look okay and still keep some of that original character, save us some time, and we should be good to go. But yep, that's what it looks like. And that is just the stain alone. No finish on it. And that's how good they look. And I got all the hardware off, that'll be cleaned up. Got the little keyholes out, the locks out. So I will just show you my spray gun setup. Here I am in the finish laboratory. This is the sealer that I use, in case you're ever wondering. I catalyzed this myself with the catalyst here. You gotta know how much to put of everything. And I even add a little bit of the, I like to add the fisheye flow out there. If I can get that in there. So I add that in. And if I'm going to tint, those are the tints, the dyes that I use. I'm going to tint the finish, which with this piece, I am just a little bit of the golden brown. Gives it just a kiss of color. Looks good. I have the sealer all mixed. It's an old trick, an old shop I worked at. We always use the Arizona tea containers. It's a gallon and is a very thick, good plastic with a nice lid. It screws on. It's great. So everything is all mixed. I got it thinned out. Here's a quick sneak peek. That is my secret recipe if you want to pause and take a look at that. So here's a new gun I got. It is the CA Tech HVLP Jaguar. This is a low CFM gun. My compressor puts out about 13.5 CFM. This gun requires way under half of that. My other gun was about 13.5 CFM, so my compressor always played catch up and then started to have a lot of moisture problems. So this gun takes care of that. I got the 1.5 millimeter nozzle tip in there. It seems to work well with this thinned out lacquer. I figured I'd just give you a little insight to my process here. There's a lot of different chemicals, a lot of different products that just go into one finish, and how everything's mixed, everything's different depending on, you know, what the finish is, what the piece is, what the temperature is, how, yeah, there's a million different things. So this is my lacquer setup, and this is just the sealer, and it has something in it. I've heard different things people say what is in there to make it more gritty. Gives it a nice quick build on the piece, and then you can sand that smooth to put your final top coat, which is a different product other than this vinyl sealer. So yeah, we'll get to going there then. let's get this. This is all mixed thinned. Everything, like I said, we'll get it into the gun. Goes into there. And we'll get spraying. Before I get started spraying, I just adjust the knobs for the flow rate as well as the fan. Give that tip a little check, make sure there's nothing stuck in there or any dry finish, and then you just start spraying. I usually take a couple passes, make sure everything looks and sounds right, not putting out too much or too little, and make my adjustments if I have to. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Okay buds, now that I got that all sprayed, I gave everything a good, nice 2 passes, where it's just wet enough but not flooded. That way we don't really run into any problems. We only had like 1 or 2 drips, nothing crazy. So if we take a look here, all these are, it's pretty much dry already. I went a little bit too heavy, just it's a nice cool day. We are at like 66 degrees in the shop, and you know, it's a nice fall day, so probably didn't need as much retarder as I did put in the mix. So you know, just remember next time, back it down a hair. But yeah, if you take a look here, you know, I mean, looking at that, it is, yeah, it's still a hair tacky, but it's pretty good now. It's pretty dry, so I just need to let that sit. Let that finish drying for about an hour, and then I'll come back and we'll start sanding that sealer. Sand this, I'm just going to use these little scuff pads, sponges. It's a very fine grit, somewhere around, I think 280. That's pretty much it. Just have to do this. I am going to put a top coat on this whole drawer. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect these to turn out this good. I thought for sure I'd have a lot of problems just spraying over that old finish like I did, but it's all in the details. The preparation was key. I really scuffed it well, made sure everything was scuffed with 220, and then really cleaned it well with the wax wash, like naphtha, whatever you want to call it. So I gotta get this, get everything else, and then get on to the top coat. Same thing with that, mix it up with the thinner. Probably won't put any retarder in it because that slows down the dry time. You need that to prevent blushing. There's so many details that you probably don't even care to know. So yeah, in the colder weather, you don't really have those problems like you do in the hot, humid weather. It'll dry really fast, but in the colder weather, finishes will dry slower, as I'm sure you probably know. So, just gonna thin it, get it in the gun, maybe tin it a little bit. I really like the color on these. You can sort of see them a little bit there pretty good. But, yeah, all looks pretty good. Just going for that nice, warm walnut look. Something a little bit more, I suppose a little bit more current. It's sticking with the classics. I don't ever like to, I don't ever chase fads. I stick to the classics. But this color looks much better than that white cream paint. And with a piece where you have a lot of mix, the walnut veneer with the maple substrate, you kind of have to tin it a little bit just to tie everything together. If you don't tin it, then you end up with a, a piece you can tell everything's a different wood. Things look a lot different. A lot of your factory finishes are very heavily tinted. That's why some of them, this finish is so heavily put on there, so opaque, you don't even see that. You don't even see the wood. One other thing that I will do with these, just wipe them down with a very lightly dampened cloth, just a little bit of water on a paper towel, just to get any leftover dust. Then it's ready for finish. Now I just gotta keep sanding. Now I got the gun loaded up here with pre-catalyzed lacquer, top coat, finish, and a little bit of that golden brown tin in there still. Once again, I just adjust the fan and the flow. And then I'm going to hit this back side of this frame for the mirror and just get started with all of them. And then we'll have to let that dry just a little bit and then flip it over to do the front side of that piece. Well, buds, there it is, all sprayed. It's nice and wet still. It's just gonna gas off here for probably the next, I'd say 8 to 12 hours. It'll be dry to touch though in about half hour. I usually just let a little fan on, maybe put a heater on if it is cooler, which today we are at, what are we at? About 70 in here. It shouldn't be too bad. Just leave the fan on for a little bit. So, that's it. If you hung out this long, thank you very much. This is the first test video for my new camera setup. So let me know. Hopefully you can hear everything, see everything. Everything works out. Let me know what you think. Hopefully plenty more videos to come. Stay tuned. I'm going to post a final video of this piece all back together, as well as the chest. I'm sure you maybe already saw the bed. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.